Hey everybody, and welcome to the Drafting Offers Podcast, the podcast where you get to vote for each episode's draft champ. We're realtors from Southern Ontario, but this is not another real estate podcast. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, catch every episode on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on social at the Drafting Offers Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brad Warner, Scott Morgan, and John Fielding.
Thank everyone for listening. We have some big news in the podcast world. We don't want to say hell is frozen over. We don't want to say pigs have flown. Week number 9, the winner, right off the get-go, Team 1, John Fielding. Congratulations, John. Hey, got the first win in the bank. I know.
Finally.
Just from chatting with some friends that listen, they were on Team John for a long time now, and I think there's going to be a lot of happy people. So congratulations, John.
I like winning, but I also like when I'm the winner and Scott's not the winner.
Yes, agreed.
It's not very nice.
I agree.
I thought there was a couple a few weeks ago that you were gonna win, and surprised that it didn't happen. On the flip side of things, though, it was a tight race. John ended up last day pulling it out by a good couple votes. We need to talk about Brad. And I noticed you switched locations, and I'm not saying this to pick on you, but we always talk about the best and the worst of things. You did not get a vote. Now, have you changed your location because of just sort of feng shui? You're looking for a better vibe in that studio, or you just don't want to look over your shoulder and just say you have a family and choose high-end toaster again? What's the scoop?
Sorry, I think my headphones aren't working. I just want to do a big shout out to Team Smith and the winning team at the Wet Bar last week. We talked about this on the last podcast, and me and Scott were on different teams, and we dominated them, especially on the final day.
They're talking about golf. They're talking about golf.
We're talking about a golf tournament.
They're talking about golf.
I'm just going to say a big shout out. I won't go on and on about it, but a big shout out to Team Smith, everybody on Team Smith for the big historical W that we just grabbed last week.
Yeah, I mean, you just made it seem like it was a walk away. We had the lead going into the last day, and it was a historic last day by Team Smith. Well earned. Sorry to Team Ferguson for letting you down, buddy, but it was one heck of a time. And
flowers for Marsh and flowers for Marsh getting
for
the
MVP. Yeah. John, okay. I know you're sitting there. You're like, I have no idea who any of these people are.
I wasn't invited.
Thanks for holding the fort down while we were gone. But yeah, this, and for anyone listening that has no idea what we're talking about, this is a tournament that's been going on since we were in university, which was in 2008, and it's been growing exponentially from about, I think, 6 people to now 20. That's on the same weekend every year. So maybe next year you'll get a little bit of a recap or a play-by-play of, maybe we'll do some shots from. I don't think we were in any state to be on camera, but it was a great time. Yeah. Well, I saw you. You were smiling the whole weekend. So yeah. Yeah. So congratulations, Team Smith.
All
now
right,
that's over, John, welcome back. Yeah. While we were away, though, I think the topic for this week, it's not so much a confirm or deny, but it's more so it was brought up by a listener about staging. We talked about things to do listing your home. And one of the things that was brought up was, does staging actually make a material difference? So he wasn't talking decluttering. He's talking the furniture that is put in your property or how things are arranged, and the lame wordplay cliche art was what he used. But he wanted us to talk about staging and if that actually has a material impact. What do you guys think?
Staging is not just bringing in furniture. It's not just taking out furniture, bringing in new furniture. It's not just hanging wall art. It's the overall aesthetic of the house. It's the picture that you want to show to potential buyers, right? So it's not just about putting furniture in the house, like taking out furniture and putting in different furniture. And like I said, wall art. It's about even paint colors or arrangement of certain things, or just the way that it presents. So you can even the way that it smells and the way that certain things feel. Like there's the cleanliness aspect of it. The things that often make money and the things that often translate to dollars tend to be light and open, like the feeling of air and space, right? So if you feel like your room needs a little bit more air and space, you want to kind of paint it a lighter color, maybe bring in some lighter furniture. It's about using the resources that you have to show off the best attributes of the property. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely agree. I think a good way to say and kind of list it would be, and how I present this to my clients is, we're taking it from how you live in the home to how a buyer is going to see your home. And a lot of the times the furniture, the way it's placed, the size of it, it's not comfortable. It's there for making it easier for the buyer to see how that space is going to work, but also making it look, like you said, bright, airy, sizable. I just had a meeting yesterday with clients, and the staging had just been done. They had been living there for close to 30 years. So that was a big one where I was interested to see what their feedback was going to be, and they were blown away. It looks night and day from how they live there to how it shows, but to hear someone that's seen that space for 30 years and go, this is exactly what we need it to look like in order to get the best money for your house, you know, that investment was worthwhile. But yeah, you're getting furniture to proper scale, which a lot of the times no one's designers. Like, you might have a couple designers that are actually listing their homes, which maybe don't need staging, but furniture is usually oversized, or maybe you're getting stuff that's been given to you that doesn't match. So you're making it look pretty and making your home stand out.
Yeah. I think this guy that asked this question for us to talk about on the podcast, he was really asking like, hey, do I really need that, you know, live, love, laugh thing that's so played out on my wall for the staging? My response to that is, you know, we talk about depersonalizing. That's a really big part of staging. It's a really big part of getting your home ready. We want to make sure those people don't walk in your house and think of all of your memories in your house. We want them to think about all the memories that they're going to create in the house.
Sure.
So it's more so like, you know, even if you have a piece of artwork on the wall that you really love, what is going to go there is whatever the most amount of people are going to love. So that artwork could be an amazing piece of artwork up there, and we could take the stager or us could take it down and put up something super generic. But the whole goal is to have the most amount of people be attracted to that house and not see that artwork and think about, oh, that's really specific to the person that lives
here. You're not putting high numbers of people off. And to go on that point, stagers, just like realtors, just like lawyers, just like home inspector, any business, there are good ones and there are bad ones. Exactly. And I'll be honest, the stager I use does not walk in and pop live, laugh, love on there. So if that's the case,
no,
you need to get a new stager. They're bringing in things that are maybe trinkets and such from HomeSense or from designer stores, but they're very neutral.
But the stager has the eye. Like, that's the thing. They know
100%.
So they can go and get stuff from HomeSense and from Marshalls and even from IKEA and all that stuff. But like, they're not just grabbing things off the shelf that they think would, like, they've got the eye. So like, that's why you're also paying a stager, because it's their design. Like, a lot of them are also interior designers, and they design interiors for people to live in, not just homes to stage. They're not just people that are turning your home into a sellable product, right? But that's a big part of it. Like, you're turning your home, like where you live, into a sellable product, someplace, like something that you can actually market and sell. So you want to show off its best attributes, right? So when they go to IKEA and they pick up these things, like you said, trinkets and stuff, they've got a plan in their head. They're not just like, that would look good there. Some of them are, but they're also really good at it, though. That's the thing. That's why we pay them.
And if you see if you follow any stagers and you see them posting pictures of, we have one going out tomorrow, and they have all of it together in a photo, you can see all of the furniture works well together. And the other thing with stagers is you want someone who's doing good business, because they're, one, making money, but two, investing in more furniture. So yeah, if you were sitting with staging inventory that's from 5 to 10 years ago, you're outdated. So you need to be keeping with the times, as opposed to, again, it comes to who you choose. I redid my listing presentation this year, and I reached out to my stager to see if they had a stat as to kind of the numbers that come from a staged home to a non-staged home. And she had said that on their end of things, it's somewhere between 6 to 10% more that you're getting out of a staged house than a non-staged house. So you can do the math. If you have $1 million average home price and you're getting 6 to 10% more, it's a great deal. And that's not even just talking price-wise. That's talking the quality of offer, and that's talking how long your home is going to sit. And we're talking about a market that we're getting more inventory hitting. We're getting maybe more days on market. So your home has to stand out. So these are one of the kind of the critical things to be doing in order for your home to be the one that's chosen by a buyer.
The other thing that just to go back to what you said about art, and like, it just kind of made me think of something, because I've dealt with clients before, and some of them have art, like whether it's wall art or sculptures or some things, like they don't necessarily want those things to be in the house when other people are around, because they could be very expensive. If you've got $1 million Renoir on your wall, and you've got a bunch of strangers walking through your house, you want to take that off and put it somewhere safe. So that's another reason that people stage, is to get rid of some of the things that they don't necessarily want to go missing, or maybe they're a very specific style. It's a very classical style or a very Gothic or whatever Renaissance kind of style, and that's maybe not what's in right now. So to change the overall style of the house, and also to protect some of the things that you may have accumulated over the years that you don't necessarily want to get broken, misplaced, gone missing, or whatever,
it's
stolen.
True.
Yeah,
it's true.
And I think I've mentioned to you guys before, like I have an exclusive stager who works for me, and we kind of are usually on the same page, and we've been there where we've done the move everything out of your house and basically move the people out of their house, especially during the pandemic when things were only on the market for 7 days. It was easy to move people out of the house and bring all your own stuff in and bring it all back, which is a huge thing. And then we've also done where we basically just go around and rearrange their house, and she has an eye for maybe this chair should go here and that sort of thing, which I don't really have that eye. But the one thing that we do always focus on, that I'll always talk to her, is like what does it look like when you first walk in the house? And I feel like I talk about this a lot, and but like when they're walking up to the house, outside the door, our stager might put some things there that makes it feel more welcoming, and then when they open that front door, there may be something there that makes things more welcoming and an easy place for their real estate agent to put their card. And just like that first impression is so important. And then maybe focus a little bit less on like the bedrooms, because by the time they're going to get to the bedrooms, they're going to know if they're going to be interested in the house or not. So I guess for me, it's like almost specific rooms more than, this entire big staging process. That's vital, I guess.
Yeah. And when you talk about specific rooms, you actually kind of want, and I find that a lot of stagers and other realtors will say, you want to, if you as a homeowner have turned a room into something that it's not supposed to be, or that wasn't designed to be, like if you've turned the bedroom into something else that's not a bedroom, and I'm only saying that because we're going to get into that a little bit later. But if you've turned your bedroom into something specific for your own needs, often the stager will say, please turn that back into a bedroom, or they'll bring in a bed, or they'll bring in even just like a day bed or a futon or something that shows that it's supposed to be used as a bedroom, because you've been using it as.
How many times do you see a crib in a room now?
Oh, always.
All the time, because cribs are easy to move in and out of the house more than a bed, right?
Exactly.
So you see cribs in bedrooms all the time.
Turn the small bedroom that you've been using for something else into a baby's room. And
but think about the style. It's the style of home, right? If you're getting that sort of going from first time home into like your second home, you're likely to have someone that's going to be starting a family or growing their family. So that's
big. That's
a great way to do it. It's funny you say that though, because I work from home obviously a lot of the time. In our first house, we had our smallest bedroom. I had my office, and I remember when we moved, the stagers had recommended we take that out and put a single bed in, which was tough to work from. But the logic behind it was good. Is you don't want buyers guessing when they go through, because there are people that can see through a vacant space, or that can see have that forethought, but most can't. So you don't want to have that ounce of doubt of will a bed fit in here. You want to showcase so that everywhere they go, it might not be how they'd arrange the room or the furniture they'd put in there, but they know full well that you can use that room for that specific purpose. Those are all great things.
Painting colors too, painting. I have a great stager. I haven't actually listed a lot of properties lately, but I have a great stager who is a little on the higher end price wise, but definitely worth it. And she's got a great social media following, and she also works with a lot of agents in this area. Great social media following, great, incredible eye for detail, and also takes before and after pictures, puts them together on Instagram, and you're like, what? Like, that is the same room? It doesn't even look like the same room, just because she thought, based on door placement, window placement, based on closet, the things that you can't move, she is just like, well, that has to go there because that's naturally the best place for it. That has to go there because that's naturally the best. Like, the placement of things is always like, it can be kind of foreign to us because we're always thinking about like the end user and the paperwork. The stager can kind of come in and do the aesthetic work, and then you've got beautiful pictures. And yeah, it just kind of, I think it just helps people visualize what they're going to do. And like, and when you said creating memories, Brad, like you said, not like a house full of memories from the last 100 years isn't necessarily going to do much for the buyer that kind of wants to come in and start their own. So
exactly.
So yeah, decluttering, depersonalizing is big, but also just using the rooms as they were intended to be used.
Even artwork, like there's beautiful pictures that are glass framed, that just the glass framed pictures don't photograph well. You'll get reflection, you'll get glare. So a lot of it is canvas. And yeah, are you looking at canvas going, this is exactly what I want in my house? Probably not, but they know. And you just said it was an eye opener for you, John, seeing a space transformed, and we're in the industry and don't have an eye for design and what the buyers are looking for. So
yeah,
I think this hits the nail on the head, puts the coffin, or puts it to rest.
Yeah.
Puts the nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll cut
maybe
that
we'll have
out,
a stager
yeah.
on sometime.
Yeah. Maybe foreshadowing a couple guests. We are at episode 10, which we brought up at the start. And we said, once we hit 10 in this thing, once we get the ball rolling and people consistently listening and voting, we are going to bring some guests on. So this might be one of the, I don't want to say last, but like maybe last times you're going to see 3 people lined up. Maybe you're going to start seeing 4, and we're going to be in quadrants. So that'll be a nice, cool look. That's if people like us enough to come on here. But
super cool. Cool.
We've hit fall. While we were away, actually, I think the day we left, we got the news that the Bank of Canada has held rates. We never talk about rates on this show, so we're going to do it a slight bit. They held rates, which brings us into the fall, which a lot of people were waiting to give their fall predictions to hear that news. So here we are. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen kind of next couple months into the end of year?
I think, even with the rates staying the same and we're kind of holding steady on that point, I don't think there's any doubt that affordability is going to continue to be an issue all across Canada. We've referenced this before, but one of the major concerns of Canadians when it comes to the real estate market is affordability. And this rate change hasn't really changed any of that. And I think the effect that has on us in Ontario means, those GTA prices are just going to get higher and higher and higher, it seems like. And, when people are purchasing those, even if the prices were a bit lower, with the rates they are the way they are right now, affordability is a major, major concern. And in my opinion, I think as we look forward in this market, I think more and more people who are getting more and more desperate to find a home that live in the GTA are going to continue to move out into the smaller markets. We're going to see that more and more. And when they move out to these smaller markets, it plays a huge role, like as someone who's from a smaller market and especially deals with some really small towns in the areas that I work. I think those markets are so affected because the pay salary range of people that are living in those small markets can't afford those houses. So I think the affordability just trickles out. It starts from the GTA and then moves out across Ontario. But I don't see that changing anytime soon as a major concern for Canadians anyways.
Yeah, you had a very key point there. As much as the rates stayed the same, they didn't go down. So they're not... The people that have been feeling the pinch are still in the same position they were in. So
there's no relief.
Exactly.
It's just been like the interest rates are still high, the prices are still up here. There's really not a lot of relief. And is it going to happen? Like what's it going to take for some relief to happen? If it's not government intervention, then what is it, right? Like what has to happen at ground level to be able to kind of see some relief?
Well, I think for them to hold rates where they're at, we've seen the right things with respect to the economy that they were looking for, or else they would have done it again. I think what's going to happen is a lot of the changes that they've put in place, they're lagging results. So we're now starting to see, like I've seen some people listing that they have to list. They're a variable and they have to list. We're going to continue to see a little bit more of that, which will add to the inventory. I think we've hit our peak. Our peak was in May. I don't think there's any argument on that for the year. I think that what's going to happen, and from what I'm seeing, like there's agents in our office and myself included that have a lot of people that have been gathering inventory for now because they're waiting on the slower summer market to end. And now we're in fall. We're already starting to see more listings hit. So I think we're going to be seeing more inventory hit. I don't think we're going to see a crash by any means, but I do think we'll probably be seeing prices either staying the same or going down the next little bit. But it's very product dependent. If you're looking at a downtown Toronto condo versus maybe a townhouse in the Durham region or even a detached, that's going to be completely different based on what's out there and how many people are looking for that. So
you know what was interesting about last week when they did this announcement of the rates staying the same, the bonds actually went up at that time. So the fixed rates went up last week. But I mean, the splashy headline is the variable rates, because that affects people so immediately. But in the long run, the bonds going up is making the fixed rates go up. And so many people out there are wanting fixed rates, you know, and like me, I'm someone who's conservative and wants a budget. I'm always going to go with a fixed rate where I live. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, because that didn't get a lot of people talking about that in particular, but it really did affect. It's going to affect a lot of people, especially when they come back to renew.
Yeah, and I think to see a change because of the fixed rates, it's almost sometimes a bad indicator in the sense that people that are locked into their pre-approval right now might actually rush to get into their place before that ends. So that usually will lead to a little bit of increased motivation to buy. And then once that kind of whatever you're locked in for 90, 120 days, once you've hit past there, then your renewal on that changes your budget drastically. So that is, again, a lagging indicator, but definitely one that is super important. I'm very interested to see.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we're so focused on first time home buyers, but if you're moving up in the market and you're selling your house to move to the other house, one thing we had a mortgage broker come in to speak with us yesterday is like, you need to be really cautious about this too, because you don't know what product they're in. So even if they're selling their house for $600,000 and moving up to an $800,000 house, which sometimes happens really quickly depending on people's circumstances. Mm-hmm. And there's been cases where when people are trying to go and move to that $800,000 house and they go in and speak with the mortgage broker, they can actually afford less than what they had their house before. Like they can afford less than that $600,000 house because they might have had a 1.2% mortgage on that. Mm-hmm. And now, you know, they're way, way, way above that. And they might have bought a car. They might have, you know, bought some other toys, and then it's changing their mortgage, and they can't actually sell their house, even though they're making money on that $600,000 house. They can't actually go and get that $800,000 house. So we have to be a little bit more cautious. And, you know, in our minds, it's like, okay, we got to make sure that's a condition written on there that the financing's approved, instead of just like, yep, we can sell that and move to that, and it's totally fine. We got to be like speaking with the mortgage brokers immediately.
We're not even talking about October. Like there's another announcement then. So that could be like, we're standing pat now. That could be depending on what happens with the economy, which we've been talking about interest rates enough. I think we need to get to bread and butter of this podcast. This is going to be our 10th draft. Just to recap, John, first win, Brad, 2 wins, and Scott, 6. Specialty rooms in the house will be this week's draft. So we are not talking your generic rooms of what would be in a normal listing. Kind of John hit the nail on the head of maybe what you would turn a bedroom into, or space in your basement or your garage. The big caveat would be it would have to be inside the walls of your house. It's not something to do with your backyard or front yard. And yeah, I think it's now time that we should get sharing of the screen and get the wheel of names up here to see who's going to be selecting the draft order this week.
This is
wow.
Oh, come on,
Scott.
Can I throw out a room that can't be like, because I looked up a little bit, did a little research here, but like, can we just all say like indoor pool can't be included because that's outside of your house? Right?
It's an indoor pool. Well, it's not always outside the house. If it's an indoor pool in a huge house, it could be the basement of the house.
Yeah. Like actually, neighbor on our street's having a house built, and they have almost a first floor wing going into their backyard where they're putting an indoor pool with your favorite collapsible doors, John, Brad, that you voted on.
Yeah, those feel like exterior doors.
But if you can sit in there in the winter, is that not? I think you just kiboshed a great pick, is what you did.
I have a lot of editing to do here.
I did that on purpose. Jesus. I did that on purpose. Yeah. It's out.
Okay, so draft order.
All right.
I'm going to say that I would like John to go first. I will go second, and Brad will go third.
Of course. Saw that one coming.
Saw
Mr. Bully Scott making me go third again. Here we go again.
But is there a clear-cut 1-1 in this? I don't know. I think this is a pretty deep draft, and it's very opinion-based. Like it's very kind of this is going to be maybe get off the rails with some tough choices for our voters this week based on what we come up with. But
Ninja Cream. I am going to go with a Ninja Creamy room. Its own dedicated.
Oh yes,
just an ice cream parlor, eh? Nice.
Okay. That's not bad. So, why did you take that one off the board?
Well, we see those all the time, right? That's a big region thing.
Ice cream parlor,
ice cream parlor, yeah. Okay, John, start us off. First overall.
It's the first thing that I thought of when I talk about it, or when I think about a specialty room, is a home theater. You cannot like a home. Everybody, I'm sure you guys all had this on your list, and I'm sorry, but hey, I was picked first, and that's what happens. So a home theater room is probably the best thing you can put in. Now, not everybody wants a home theater room, but that's why it's a specialty room. If everybody wanted one, it would just be in every house. It would just be like a media room. Right?
Builders would be popping them in everyone's basement.
Exactly. I saw a home theater room one time right on the main floor of the house. You walk into the front doors, beautiful double doors, hallway, marble and everything. And the home theater room was on the left. It almost looked like a gangster's boardroom with a huge screen on the wall without the table. But it was the home theater room right on the main floor of the house. But like mostly you see them in basements because windows and darkness and quiet, and you can soundproof them and things like that. But like, the big screen on the wall, projector on the ceiling, maybe some nice home theater seating, popcorn machine, like all that kind of stuff. A home theater, like you can turn a big, a nice big open space into a gorgeous home theater room.
I showed a house with a home theater room one time, and it had like fake popcorn and stuff.
See,
so there's some goes back to staging, but there was like downstairs, like, so you could like had like a popcorn machine over here, and then there was like this big tub of like fake popcorn, and then there was like fake sodas and stuff. It was
movie posters around the walls.
Brad, how'd you find out it was fake? Were you trying to take a little nibble?
My stage uses real popcorn. Going back to home staging.
Actually, there are a bunch of stagers that have been doing that, where I've gone through, and in the basement there's a whole like candy bar and stuff, and popcorn was real. I went for a little taste, but
of course you did.
You know what? Great pick, John. I think I was wrong when I said, is there a clear-cut 1-1? I think home theater was it, and that was a big misstep. I think I'm off my game. Good pick. So
you picked me.
First pick, I'm going to go with the billiards room.
The place to be.
The place to be. I think if you're going to have people over, you know what? That was way down on my list. I'm looking. I'm in a bad spot already. That was a bad pick.
Who even says billiards?
Well, it's like a billiards game room. Like
I hear, Mom, we're going. Like you took billiards room and like.
But the way are you? No, but the way I see that room and kind of what we had growing up. My parents moved our pool table like 3 times, but you could put a ping pong table over top. You could have sometimes there'd be little pinball machines, kind of that games room vibe.
Did you call it a pool room or did you call it a billiards room?
Well, it sounds like a pool room. A pool room you just said wasn't draftable.
Pool table
room. That would be an indoor pool, but
I don't know. Yeah, pool table room, billiards room.
So
gotcha.
Brad, you get 2 in a row here, Brady.
Okay, the first one. I'm gonna go with a home gym. With the rubber floors and the mirrors and the big screen TV.
The mirrors, yeah.
Not a shocker for me to take home gym. I mean,
I've already
doing it every day.
This is over for me. It's a 2-horse race between the two.
All right, and then I'm just gonna go with the next one because I feel like these are both pretty chalk, to be honest. The next one, home office.
Oh, okay.
That's a good pick. Especially nowadays, like a lot of people are working from home.
Who doesn't want those?
It's not a sexy pick, but it is, I think, one that might get votes in terms of usefulness.
I think so. Every stager is going to say, turn that home office back into a bedroom. See, that's what I was going to say, and I didn't want to say it, but I was going to say it earlier. But like, that's the thing. I'm sitting in a bedroom right now. It's my home office, but it's a bedroom. But if I were to go sell my house, I'd have to have a crib in here. Like they would take out the desk, take out my standing desk and all of the stuff, all the computer and everything I've got around here, and just put in a crib and call it a day. That's what a stager would do, and that's why we pay them the big bucks.
But sometimes you'll see the home offices that are, they're just for home office though, because there's like the custom built cupboards and everything like that.
Sure.
Like those are pretty sweet.
That's built as a home office.
Well, like, mine's kind of built in, I guess.
On the main floor.
It looks exactly like you might have built-ins in your home
office. I do have built-ins, but my office is a little bit more open concept, let's say.
Okay, that's fair. I think another one that's going to be on the sort of chalk side of things is I'm thinking of entertaining, and that's the home bar. Like you got your space with your mini fridge, you got your spot where you maybe have some shelving to show off your nice glasses, and when you're having people over, whether it's the holidays, whether it's your friends, you're drinking. So home bar.
So just to have a bar in the room, like we're talking about a room with a bar,
with a bar,
like a physical bar,
kind of like a
behind
rec
you.
room.
And that's flexible. I think my last two, I've kind of thought of basements, but bar can be in sort of like a portion of your sort of dining open concept area. It could be its own little thing where they've got the full blown, like either built in on the wall or it comes out. I think it's flexible. And I think that's
I have one 5 feet away from me in my home office. I have a bar 5 feet away from me.
I'm surprised you're not. I'm surprised you're not bellying up to that right now after the weekend that we had. Anyways, second pick of John's draft.
All right, it's gonna be it's a wine cellar, because on the topic of booze, we're gonna go with a wine cellar. That's the specialty room. See, I like wine. I don't drink a ton of wine, but I like it, and I would like a room for those kinds of things. Maybe with like a little table in the middle, tasting table or something. Couple of barrels, basically, humidity controlled, temperature controlled, shelves, and that the whole nine. So
it
locking
just looks
door.
regal too. It looks so nice.
When you can take the party down to the wine cellar and just start cracking things open, like, oh yeah, it's just. That's what you got to have. The wine cellar is probably one of the most specialty classy. This isn't a classy specialty room draft. It's just a specialty room draft. But I think wine kind of takes it to another level. So
there's a lot of people that vote that like wine. So I think I'm looking right now at the three teams, and this is a clear-cut 2-horse race. So I'm going to go off the rails when it's my turn.
You might as well be creative now.
I'm going from my heart, and I'm going to have a lot of people tripping, but that's okay. John, you get to start off the third round here. I think you're starting well.
Third round's going to start off with a workshop. So a room that has your tools, maybe a little bit of a messy room, wood, maybe saws, maybe a nice workbench or a table. Of course, you've got to have a little fridge in there, maybe a radio, but basically the workshop. The workshop is going to be one of the and it doesn't have to be outside. It could be inside the house, or you could turn another part of your property into a workshop. But I'm just going to leave it at that. I'd say a workshop.
I feel like when I think of a in-home workshop, like down in someone's basement near the furnace room kind of thing, I think of like an old man working on like a train set. That's what goes through my mind.
Very specific. Why a train set?
I don't know. I feel like I've seen you've seen these workshops and they're usually.
I haven't seen a train set in there ever.
Oh, I have.
I'd love to see a train set workshop.
Yeah.
If you know of any for sale right now, I know somebody who would buy one. So if you've got a house with a train room in it, I got a buyer for it. Right now.
Didn't realize John was such a train guy. This is new information.
I'm not the buyer.
I got
I'm
a
not
train.
The buyer. I got friends.
I got a train thing going on upstairs in my house right now. There's a little train action. Thomas the Train.
Yeah, actually,
that's inappropriate.
We just picked one of those up for a little man. Yeah, when I picture those workshops, I just picture a big vise and like gluing wood together, or like just sanding wood. I wouldn't say that the train
pegboards.
But
I have my workshop. I think I have my workshop in my garage. That's why I think. When I bought this house, the guy there was an obvious workshop over where the furnace is, and he built like toy airplanes.
Cool.
And it was like very like in depth, crazy. Like we ended up having these like huge things in here that had like all the details of how he did his airplane. So I think maybe that's why my mind goes there. Yeah.
The hobbies for hobbies.
Yeah. Personal niche for you.
Mine's more for golf clubs actually. So it's a bit of a hobby thing, I think.
So you saying golf clubs takes me into my third pick, which is going to be a golf simulator.
Oh, he's just going big
going
now.
Right for it, swinging for the fences. And something that I would want in my house. I think I'm out of this, so I'm just going for one where like the two people that vote
who doesn't want it. Yeah, there's going to be votes for that.
Your heart. Use your heart. See, now you can go and you can.
I'm pulling the John today.
Yeah, there you go. You can just pick ones. Don't go with the chalk picks. Leave that to us. You've got enough wins. Just be yourself. Be true to yourself.
I'll be true to myself. Scott's draft. Yeah, this is my draft to just show you the inside of my heart. Actually,
golf and beer.
Golf, beer, pool. Nice.
Yep. All right.
Brad.
Okay. All right. I did have that on my list, by the way.
I know you did. Because you picked it in another draft, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a sauna room. A sauna.
Was on my list.
Just the sauna? Anything else in that room? Or just your
Don't open the door for him. He's gonna throw a kitchen in there somehow and try and get 2 for 1 here. Sorry.
Bar fridge.
Is that bullying? Is that bullying? I'm on to you. The amount of people, I have to say, to go back to that topic of of giving you a hard time. The amount of people that know Brad well, there were 18 others there, agreed with me, and how
That's not true.
Had to keep you in line. 100%. They said that you would have tried to take washer and dryer together. So I'm just defending myself here, so I don't come off as a bully and get canceled. So.
I had sauna on my list. Yeah. I like sauna, and I kind of think if you're in Finland, and you can actually, so one of the things that they do is they actually make food in the sauna. So like you'll be in the sauna drinking, like it's a whole social thing in Finland. So you sit there, drink beers, and then while you're drinking beers and having your sauna, you've actually got a thing of food cooking on the hot coals. Like you can make sausages and stuff, and then when your sauna's done, your food's done. It's super cool. Yeah.
I have a cedar room here. I'm assuming no one was going to take cedar room, right? But I have like a cedar closet in here, and I've always wondered if I could change it into a sauna, because you put your clothes in your cedar room so they don't get damp or whatever, moths, all that. So
repels moths.
I'm like, I wonder if I could ever turn that into a sauna.
You got to watch you got to go drywall that concrete board so that it doesn't rot or mold or anything. It's what's behind the cedar. Yeah. But I think you could do it. Keep that cedar. That
for our sake, I would like you to do that. So anytime I visit, we can
have a couple of beers in a sauna.
Okay, my next one is like I'm hoping I actually don't even know who votes. That's a Scott and John, I feel like know this, but I'm gonna go with a dressing room.
Yeah.
When we first moved in here, pre-kids, my wife had one of those. I remember I like painted one of the walls in there to make it like her own little room to get ready every day, and she loved it. And
so
she
just to help me,
when I asked her about this draft, like, what do you think I should take? She's like, oh, you gotta take like a dressing room. It'd be huge. So hopefully,
I think there are. Yeah, you're going to get some maybe votes with that. Are you talking like a large walk-in closet where you're getting dressed, or just specifically like some mirrors and like what's in this room? Just so I can, because I'm not familiar with the dressing room.
It'd have to be a pretty big walk-in closet.
I'm picturing the size of a bedroom turned into basically a wardrobe. So you've got closets all the way around, maybe a table in the middle,
an island
that has drawers, and you get dressed and stuff like that. And you can have the shoe racks and glass doors. Like I kind of see the dressing room as like a full-on wardrobe made out of a bedroom.
Well, the place we just stayed last week, the one guy had a dressing room in his room. It was huge. This like massive closet
in the closet.
No, Cove had a dressing room. I had a walk-in closet. Cove had a dressing room. There was two different. It was different. He had.
I had an extra bunk bed.
Yeah, Scott was in a bunk. He was a bunk.
I had a queen room with an ensuite and then a bunk bed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was going to use that for.
Oh,
Interesting. Dressing room. Yeah. Let's just keep going from the heart here. I'm going to take a music room. So one where you're either playing your records, you got good speakers, you might be having a drink from your bar or other things. I don't know. But I'm going to take music room. And you could even have maybe some instruments there, like guitar or a little drum kit or something where you're making music as well. But
you got to have lots of records, I think. You have to be a record guy to have that.
1,000%. If there's not a record in that room, whether it's on the wall or being played, it's not a music room.
And a guitar that you probably don't know how to play. That's totally fine, but there for looks.
Great art piece.
Wall.
Yeah.
Just exactly.
A Foo Fighters thing behind you, something real trendy, real trendy.
If anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Dave Grohl fan. I'm in his audiobook right now, Walking Dog. So this is one I wanted to show off. And then if you can even see further over, there's more records and a player, which I don't play. It's not plugged in.
But anyways, let's just time out for 1 second though.
Yeah,
because hold on, I know. Because we're talking about a music room. We're not talking about like if you say it's a music room to listen to music and to have
listen
a record
or to make music.
So, but those are sometimes
two different things.
Things.
I have those as two different things on my list. Music room is like a listening to music room.
Yeah.
And then there's another room.
If you would like me to choose, I will just take the listening.
Yeah, of course.
The reason I got this, or I went with this, is because a friend of mine records music, but it's both. So that room is both for him. So that I thought of that room, and that's what I wanted. But if I need to choose, then
you can certainly make those things both. Like you can certainly do both in that space. If you've got, if you have the one room to dedicate to all of those things, then of course you do that. But I think if you're going to build a specialty room, it's going to be one of the two. It's either going to be a room for listening or a room for making.
Are you taking the room for making, or did you just get, or we're just tipping that one?
You're just trying to weaken my pick.
I didn't call it a name. I just said it's a room for making.
Take it. Take it.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn. It's
Recording
your
studio.
turn.
So for the record, I have recording studio, but I had that more for like podcasting, or I even put a / through for like video behind you. So a lot of people are working from home. There's a lot of creators out there for their business. They have a backdrop behind them, and that's what I see that room as. So
that's a great. That is a great room. It's a recording studio / studio. I don't know, recording room, soundproof. Yeah, soundproof.
That's great. Recording
that's
studio.
The thing. That's
I'm okay. I'm okay with them being separated. I already my first pick I knew I lost, so I'm just trying to keep the peace. Recording room. All right, cool. John, you are starting fifth round. Fifth round. For you.
It's it's going to be the wellness room, which I'm going to call a yoga room for the sake of the sake of the draft.
Like yoga and meditation room.
Yoga, yeah, like your yoga, just an open room,
prayer room.
Yoga, that's not what I was thinking, but you can take that one if you want. I was saying yoga just because that's kind of the popular sort of thing, right? I mean, you can call it a Pilates room, you can call it whatever you want, but or a wellness room. But I'm saying it's just a yoga room, kind of like, you got plants in the corner, maybe a stool, kind of stuff. Like you've got your yoga
essential oils pumping,
and the rolls, like your back roll, and just like the stuff that you would use during yoga, the mats and things like that. That's what I'm going to say. It's going to be the yoga wellness room.
John, I'm going to say this right now.
Don't.
No, you're on a friggin' roll, man. You're a whole new man.
Can I tell you why?
It took 9 episodes, but we're there.
I feel like his recording studio, the way he described it, is a lot of people's home office now. So I feel good about that. And then the other one, the wellness room, is just, I have a home gym. Mine you can do that in. So I feel good about that.
People look at wellness in a different way, in different ways. So
that's all.
I feel good about mine. That's all. I feel good.
You don't think
that made me feel
golf
better.
Sim's gonna get
that made me feel. No, that was a fine one, but you really blew it off the top.
Oh, big time. You know what's funny is I beside my picks I have them numbered, and that was number 8 on my list. I don't know why it just jumped out, and I was like, that one. I think I
didn't like the way you said it.
No, I
just didn't like that. Yeah,
I pulled the high end toaster. I said I have a family. I'm going to choose billiards room. All right. We got 2 picks left. So this is one that I think is just funny. And I think maybe we'll get some kinky people out there, but I'm going to say a 50 Shades room, a playroom.
You went there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was told not to go there by
who?
I was throwing out. No, I was just told not to go there. But hey, you can go there.
I already went there. I'm off the rails. So
how to build a blank room isn't there a Netflix documentary? Is that something that I like? How to build a room? I don't know if it's a real documentary. I don't know
what means, but there could be a lot of things.
So a 50 Shades of Grey room.
I'll say it. Yeah, the 50 Shades or playroom.
It's a weird thing to take. An adult play. It's a weird thing to draft. I'd hate.
Yeah.
So
I'd hate to look at your browsing history.
I think what I did off the start was I went a little too niche. I'm trying to hit a bunch of niches.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say this isn't a mainstream thing. Like you're going.
This isn't just my I chose Golf Sim for my favorite. The music room, the 50 Shades. I just want to hit that niche. I think we don't have one. It's not in our future, but
we're going to find out a lot about our audience.
Yeah. So you know what? It's funny because hopefully you're not listening and embarrassed to choose that if you feel that is your best. But I might be looking in Brad Warner territory with 0 picks.
That might have just sunk you right there.
But it might get some people talking. It might get some chatter. So
that's true.
All right. Okay. Last but not least,
Brad Warner. I'm in between 2. Well,
choose well because this could be the make or break.
I don't think it matters.
John's John's getting cocky. I love this.
No,
We need more of it. You need to go on a run and win like 6 in a row. You'll be wearing a tuxedo every week, just being like, "Who's next?" Anyways, Brad.
I think I'm gonna go with sunroom.
Sunroom.
You just lost.
A back room.
Solarium. Yeah.
You go in the back. It's usually 3 seasons. Windows everywhere.
I'm familiar with what a sunroom
Yeah.
is. That,
Ceiling fan. Yeah, they do.
well,
those.
you've already chose. What were you deciding between?
That and children's playroom.
Oh, so Scott goes with the.
I
I,
think you
thought
made the
you were
wrong
going to take
choice.
kids playroom. I thought you were going to take kids playroom, and I would have taken kids playroom if I were you.
I
would've
shoulda-
done the Same. Yeah, that was a terrible.
We
choice.
went-
I'm sorry.
we went
Even
through a-
solarium. You should have said like maybe some people that like growing plants or.
I had an
home garden. Sorry, I'm ripping you here. I guess
I
this
went
is
to
my
a-
bullying.
I went.
side.
Yeah, I know. I went with a children's playroom. Almost went with that one because yesterday we went into a house that had underneath the stairs had its own children's playroom that had the tiny little door and everything, and it was
Yeah.
I like the idea of the. Okay, so between a kids
John,
playroom,
veto
and
my
adult-
sunroom.
That
And
takes-
let me
that
go.
takes- that takes 2 vetoes, buddy. And you
Sorry,
think he's
John. Sorry,
not
go
going to
ahead.
strengthen your thing?
Sorry, John.
I
go
just,
ahead.
I just would have. I think that. I think if once Scott said the adult playroom, I thought for sure you were going to go with kids playroom, and and that would only just be because it's just kind of one or the other. And I think if you say kids playroom, it's going to immediately trigger something in somebody's brain, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, Brad." Come on.
I don't know if I get more votes because it's Brad's. People think it's my picks. I don't think that actually helps. I think it might hurt.
No, it's because people want to vote against the adult playroom. That's all
yeah,
it is.
true.
Do you think so?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
I just
We're gonna
kind of put
find
it in
out,
there,
aren't we?
kind of put it in there for a laugh or a shock value. But all right, so Brad, last pick, sunroom. So let's do a little recap. Team 1 is John with home theater, wine cellar, workshop, recording room, and yoga meditation room. Team 2, Scott, billiards room, bar, golf simulator, music room, and 50 Shades playroom. Team 3, Brad, gym, home office, sauna, dressing room, and sunroom. What
This
do we
is
got
gonna
on the
depend
draft
on
room
a-
floor?
It's going to depend on a lot. This is going to depend on how, we're going to get to know, like I said, we're going to get to know our audience quite a bit through this draft. And you look, if somebody takes the specialty seriously of this specialty, I don't have a lot of, mine are not super specialty. They're just different rooms that are kind of found in some houses. Whereas Scott, I think, is he just went right into as specialty as you can make it, regardless of
Just
how we
niche
react.
across the board.
Yeah.
He
At the
swung
end
for
of the day,
fences.
at the end of the day, it's what the voters are going to
Yeah.
do, and I don't think I.
He was trying to make it. He was trying to hit a home run.
Yeah, sometimes you crack dingers and sometimes you strike out. That's how you
Yeah.
play the game.
But when
So
you make your move,
you want to make it a home run. That's
You wanna
for
make
sure. Thank you. Wow, you just threw me a pitch and that got knocked out of the park. So
So what did you have on the floor? I'm going to start because I was the first. So I like food, and I'm always thinking about food and food related things. And so I'm kind of thinking a cantina in the basement where you keep your wine and you keep your sauce and you keep your prosciuttos and things like that. I used to visit an Italian family quite often, and they had the cantina. It was beautiful. You just go get a couple of things out of there. You could do that, or you can do a butler's pantry, or just a pantry, hidden pantry or something, where it's another room. Maybe sometimes it's hidden because it looks like cabinets, and you open the door and go back there. But I like those food ones, and I had games room and things like that. So what about you guys?
games room was a big miss, I think, for us. You know,
yeah, a lot of video games with people with kids that play video games. So
like
that
an
was a miss.
NBA Jam arcade type thing over there in the corner. That was a miss. And then this last one, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but an observatory, something to look at the planets and the stars in. A big telescope sitting in the corner,
Like a dome?
Corner
Would
in
you
your
have-
corner.
would it be
Hey,
a big dome?
observatory.
You just put like the Pope mobile on top of your house, just with a big glass
Brad,
dome.
I didn't see that coming from you there.
listen.
That's a deep pick right there. Not that you're not a deep guy, but I thought you were going
it might
sports
surprise you.
kids
I
related.
have a couple of friends that are really into it actually, and they have the fancy telescopes and stuff like that. I can't say it's something that I'm into. I guess where I live compared to where you guys live, it's just smog where you are. So
Yeah, you don't get a lot.
yeah.
of
Well, at least here
lights,
we
stars.
go.
You know what? With your pick of sunroom there, I think you could toss a telescope in there and kind of get the same
100%.
deal. So maybe
100%.
we'll see what I can find for the graphic for you.
Mhm. For you, I feel like you'd probably put your telescope right in your 50 Shades of Grey room because you're a little creep.
No.
You're probably just looking in other
No.
people's windows.
Not at all. There's no windows in that room, buddy. Get it straight. What did I ask?
All
A cigar room, Craft room. Yeah, we kind of hit the nail of a few of them. Mini sticks room I thought was pretty cool. We had something similar as a kid. So
anybody have a prayer room or a chapel or something religious?
Well, I think you kind of have a prayer room.
That's pretty much the wellness room, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you want that as wellness room or yoga meditation room? Do you want
yoga
room?
meditation room?
Yeah, is fine. I think that's kind of the yoga room is all right. You could do religious things in there, I suppose. But I mean, you can also do religious things in your 50 Shades of Grey room. I don't know.
You can do Jesus, you can do that anywhere. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of holy shits in the golf simulator too. So, Brad, I thought with your sauna pick, you might have gone with adding a cold plunge in there because
not that trendy. I would say the only thing. Oh, not a sauna. What's the other version of a sauna? What am I missing here? The steam room. Steam room. But I mean, what a disaster in your house.
That's just You know what though? If I'm choosing one, I'm choosing the steam room, hanging around with the towels and instead of going for a schwitz. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good one.
Good.
Yeah. Congrats again to John. Big win. And I don't know, we might be seeing you up on the leaderboard again here.
Looks like most likely not, but
is this going to be a comeback or was that a one-off? I don't know. Only the viewers and listeners will decide.
Could it take 9 more episodes? Can it take 9 more?
Yeah, I mean, I like how you got it in before we started adding guests because then you're getting down to a 25% chance.
Yeah, once we add the guests, it's going to be really tough.
And if a guest got one before you, that would be that'd be tough. But you did it. I'm proud of you, buddy. Yeah. And again, anyone with topics or anyone who might be interested in getting involved in actually drafting with us, feel free to reach out. We're happy to have some new blood on here. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next episode.
You've been listening to the Drafting Offers Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Drafting Offers Podcast and vote for this week's draft champ. That's also how you can get directly in touch with us if you have any questions about this week's show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch every episode on Spotify. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait for you to join us again for another episode of the Drafting Offers Podcast.